'cause you cut me to the bone. And I won't miss the way that you kiss me. We were never carved in stone. If I don't listen to the talk of the town, then maybe I can fool myself. I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not sinking. And I'll tell myself I'm over you. 'Cause I'm the king of wishful thinking.
Hello, and welcome back to the Ark of E Podcast. My name is Noah,
And my name is Gavin.
and we're the Blanchard brothers. Keeping it safe once again.
Mm-hmm.
We measured out 6 feet from
Yep.
ourselves. Gavin has gloves on and a mask, which he was kind enough to remove before the recording, because that probably would sound pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No symptoms, no fever,
Haven't
nothing.
seen you in a couple of days, so it's
Yeah.
good to check in.
been a while.
In person.
Mhm.
Hopefully you didn't bring any germs
Definitely
into my abode. Yeah. But we're playing it safe as
Yeah.
we can.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you enjoyed our top 5 quarantine episode. Hopefully you watched some of those, or maybe you were in the mood to just completely ignore it, in which case I would recommend checking out the episode I just did with Mr. Sunshine Mayfield, where we just recommended a bunch of different movies and TV shows to watch while you're quarantined.
Yeah, I saw those go up. I need to listen to them.
That actually hasn't gone up yet. We recorded that today.
What did you put up then? You put up more stuff with him, though, like little review stuff, right?
We did our top 5 movies that we would like to see turned into TV shows.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Also did a mini review of High Fidelity. That is up and out, as is there's a bunch of stuff out, and there's going to be more coming because I'm going to have a lot of downtime, at least this week, from what I understand from my work. So more on that later, but that means more podcasts for you lovely people.
Yeah.
Gavin's still at work, which is great. And I mentioned this on the cast I recorded with Mayfield, but like, everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing great.
Yeah.
Not asking for any assistance of any kind, but if you do feel like supporting us in these times, if we're bringing you some solace or some solidarity,
Lighthearted humor, lighthearted distractions.
you can go over to the patreon.com/thearkofe, where you can get some bonus content for as little as $1 a month. If you're not if you're not up for spending any cash, totally understand that as well. But if you are an Apple, iTunes, or podcast app user, you can go onto this podcast and give us a little 5-star rating.
I had a question about that. Can we clear this up for people?
Absolutely.
So, if they just go on and give, like, the 5-star review, does
5-star rating.
Rating
and review, 2 separate things.
So, in order to do the whole thing I was talking about with, like, that you were telling me that Mayfield, I saw, like, being able to review stuff next year and all that.
Becoming basically a legitimate, a tomato meter legitimate, which I guess I shouldn't say this publicly since we're trying to get on there, but like, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean anything, but it would legitimize us in as much as like we can contribute reviews that would be counted among, what determines whether it's a splat or a
Certified
fresh.
Okay, yeah.
So,
but what do they need to do? Do you have to actually write a review, or can you just hit the five-star
well,
rate?
part of it is we have to be putting out at least 4 episodes a month on our feed for one thing.
Okay.
We have to have 200 plus ratings on Apple, iTunes, because that's still the standard they go by, even though everything is very much shifting towards Spotify.
Right.
That's the standard for right now for their criteria. And yeah, there'll be a written component for them that'll also be on the site, but essentially our verbal reviews can be quoted and referenced, in there as well.
Yeah, but I meant for like the people that are would help us get there. They don't have to like write a review. They just need to hit rating, right?
They do not at all.
What?
Just clearing the throat.
Sorry. All right, just checking.
Clearing
Just
the
checking.
throat.
Just
Sorry.
checking.
Thank you for any concern.
Might happen a couple times this episode.
Yeah. But no, you are not required to actually physically write a review. But
Okay,
if you click
thank
the
God.
rating of 5 stars, it does count.
Okay,
And we're just trying to get that number up. It is currently sitting at 10, so we got a long road to hoe.
People
We
liked
just
my
need
post on Instagram, but nobody did anything about it.
Yeah.
This goes back to every
the
time.
follow through.
Yeah.
That's what we need from
That's
you.
what
So
it's-
that's why I'm trying to get better
Yeah.
about this, and we're mentioning it
At
every
the top,
episode.
yeah. Well, like I said all the time, we would get these guys that come in that are car salesmen, we get their checks, and like one of my senior tellers, you say, look at this guy's doing it part-time. You should go do this. I'm like, Wendy, I can't get people to hit like on a podcast for free. I don't think I'm able to sell them a car at like 20 grand. It's not going to happen.
Case in point, that's like the fourth time you've said that
exactly
on this podcast.
I know. That's people maybe the fourth time people will actually understand it. So everybody who liked my thing on Instagram, could you just do me a solid and just go do it? That'd be like at least 10 more.
Okay. Well, let's stop shilling for ourselves for the moment. But again, it would be greatly appreciated if you're enjoying this at all. But regardless, just your listenership means enough as is. But if you want to go above and beyond, there are those options for you.
And let's add this too. Wait, do they have to be 5-star ratings? You could leave us a 1-star if you fucking hate the show.
We have to have over 200 ratings with, I believe, a 4.
Okay.
Or 5, 4 or higher, essentially overall average rating. 4 stars or higher.
And you should have like 1,000 1-star reviews just for people being assholes.
Yeah. Or you could totally tank us and sabotage this entire endeavor.
Yeah. And if you make us both question what we've been doing for the past 3 years. If you hate us that much,
why are you listening in the first place to even hear this? But
like the Walking Dead of podcasts for people.
Let's put this to bed, and we're going to kick things off. I'll run through the agenda, as it were. Okay. We are doing a little top 5. This is essentially, I think I'm going to title this episode Wishful Thinking. Top 5 most anticipated movies from now until September.
You can only do that if you agree to enter the show with Go West, King of Wishful Thinking.
100%.
Or the Newfound Glory cover, whichever you want to do. I'm fine with both.
I'm going to go with the original.
Yeah. It was. I changed the workstation today because we were like by ourselves. I'm like, I'm not listening to the same shit we've been listening to. New station, that was the first song to play. I was so excited.
Have you seen Paul Rudd and Jimmy Fallon recreate the video? Okay.
I love it.
We didn't know if we needed to watch that in the room right now. Okay. But yeah, we're
That's not the only one they do. No, they do a Spin Me Right Round. They do that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive, that's it.
Totally derailed.
Sorry.
I don't even know where we are now.
We're doing a top 5.
We're going to do our top 5. Then we'll do some what we've been watching while we're still in the movie arc. Then we'll transition over to the TV arc. We got a few things to talk about. And then I had a 3 songs or less planned for the music arc segment, but Gavin was teasing that maybe he wanted to do something else. So we'll deal with that when we get to it. Okay?
Yeah.
We're just cashing out over here.
Yeah. Nothing
at 11 o'clock on a Monday night. What are weird
we doing?
Times, man.
Yeah.
Weird times.
The wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're back. I'm gonna let you. Let you lead off.
You want my number 5?
Let you bat number 1. Hit me.
Ooh, okay.
Hit it.
All right. Well, my number 5 is gonna be No Time to Die.
Okay.
The latest James Bond.
I did say that the cutoff was end of August, and we were gonna save September through the end of the year.
So you don't want to do November? I mean, I thought we were just going to go into the year, but okay.
We might as well at this point.
We don't know. That's
I
my whole
tried to
thing.
limit mine. I'm trying to be maybe a little more hopeful, but okay. So No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we probably would be watching, a week or 2 weeks from now originally? Is that correct? Or no, it was going to be in March. Last weekend of March?
It's,
I believe.
Yeah, it's got April. What is the date on here now?
It's
got April
November.
10th. Well, it says April 10th.
Well,
here.
I think that was the original. Okay.
Okay, and they pushed
Maybe
it
that
back
was
from
it.
now that it's in November.
Yes.
I got you. That's why I put it on there, because I was like, oh, that's going to be right here before the summer.
Okay.
You know?
That was the original intent.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. So, yeah. Pushed to, I believe, Thanksgiving weekend, essentially.
Which does make more sense, I feel like.
And totally plays and works, and I hope, we're on the other side of this by then, and everything goes off without hitch. I know they already lost money on it, but it's whatever. They'll make it back in the long run.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's no way they're going to, if that ends up, going to streaming for $40 or something, dude, the end times are truly upon us. I just want you to know that. If the Broccoli's cave and put it up on the internet. Yeah. Okay, so we'll let it slide. I tried to keep mine, and yeah, okay. My number 5 is Candyman. Just on your list.
Yeah, it's my number 4.
Okay.
So
I'm glad I didn't crush it.
Yeah, no. It works.
June 12th. So who knows? Trailer dropped a couple weeks ago before all of this hit, of course.
Kind of out of nowhere for me. I don't know about you.
I mean, I was aware that it was happening. Mm-hmm. I knew Jordan Peele was producer on it. casting was still kind of up in the air for a bit. Mm-hmm. And then we got the trailer. I'm incredibly intrigued.
Yeah.
I rewatched Candyman for the first time in a long time this past October. Mm-hmm. Still holds up. Great movie, but also one where you see, like, you know, if you guys just put a little bit more, like, effort into the story in places, there's a lot of rich stuff to draw on here. So perfect candidate for a remake.
Yeah.
And an update. And this seems like it's essentially a sequel. It happens in a universe where the events of at least the first one took place.
Okay, yeah. I had never watched the first one all the way
Green
through.
And everything. So, very excited. You got Yahya Abdul-Mateen from Watchmen, I guess most recently for people. And of course he was in Us as well. He's in the opening of Us.
That's right.
He's great. He's fantastic. And what I love the trailer because we barely get any Candyman.
And I hope you don't get a lot of it. I hope it's so like just the littlest, like the tiniest bit.
Yeah.
Because that's the terrifying part of it all.
I will say
that whole
this
trailer.
was kind of a weird one to draw a comparison to, but like the Pet Sematary trailer, I talked about my issues with Lithgow's like line deliveries and stuff. Hearing the new Candyman voice, I am a little like, okay, it's going to be a little bit of adjustment because you're expecting Tony Todd, and it's so distinct. And I remember at one point, and I'm not sure about this, I thought Lakeith Stanfield was going to be playing Candyman.
Me too.
As I understood it. But I don't know if that's the case now, based on the cast list that I saw. But I was under the impression that that was Lakeith. But I also get the vibe from this trailer that Candyman is essentially taking over Yahya.
Yeah.
From what I can tell. Like, I think the trajectory for the movie, at least this is what I get from the trailer, maybe it's giving too much away, is he is eventually going to be transformed into what will now be Candyman.
Yeah.
Once he comes back into, like, his corporeal form or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That makes sense.
I think they're going to establish some new rules as well, because it's very vague in the original.
Yeah.
And I think there's 2 sequels. I haven't seen either one.
I know there's one called Farewell to the Flesh.
Yes, I think
there's the third one, maybe? I don't know.
Is that a Hellraiser title? Or maybe that is the third Candyman. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all Clive Barker,
right?
right?
I think so, yeah.
Even though he didn't direct any of the
No, man, they're all stories from. There's like 4 guys.
I highly recommend you do go back and watch the original, which is still on Netflix right now. Just the total like tone of it and vibe, and particularly the way it's shot. It feels really unique horror movie compared like, to anything that was coming out at the time.
Every time I've ever seen anything from it, there is just like did you guys shoot this in like 23 and a half frames a second or something? There's just the slightest
dreamlike quality.
There's a slight twinge of like, this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen, but yet it does kind of, but it's like a weird unsettling kind of thing. Almost like, you know, how I'm sure I'm blanking on whoever it is, but like they would shoot stuff in a different like frame rate, and then they would slightly tweak it to roll it down a little bit. Just something like that I'm sure had to be done. So,
okay.
But yeah, that's my number 4. So if you want to roll into your 4, we can do that.
Okay, we can definitely do that. This might also be stepping on your toes,
probably.
Man. June 24th. Fingers crossed that we can take to the skies once again with Top Gun Maverick.
I mean, it's on my list.
Do you not want to say where it is? Do you want me to table it?
I mean, we can go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, sorry. There's not a lot that's slated at this point
because it's
for the window I gave you.
Because that's my number 2.
I mean, we've been amped for this for over... You said you're number 2?
It's my number 2,
gotcha.
Yeah.
We've been amped for this for over... I mean, they dropped the trailer at least a year ago, right? The first teaser. Can't wait. I mean, I haven't revisited the original, the OG, in a while. You and I have talked off mic about possibly exploring the filmographies of the brothers Scott, as it were.
Mainly just Tony, but I mean
we really want to just talk about Tony Scott, but you kind of, that was our angle in, was like, they're brothers, let's compare the filmographies. But yeah, really just want to do Tony Scott.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if we jumped on it right now, I think he was maybe in the running, but blank check, just they released who they're doing next. It's George Miller, so we're all in the clear, man. We're not going to have any Manhunters issues.
That'll work.
Yeah, Because I know everybody's like, oh my God, are they going to clash again?
Yeah. I mean, the true the true Ark heads out there are like, oh man, these guys.
Yeah.
It's like classic drama going down.
Yeah, all
Oh,
25
man.
of them.
Yep.
Okay.
That are all our friends.
But yeah, Top Gun Maverick. Okay, we get the main attraction for me here. I mean, obviously, Tom Cruise. Stepping back. Has he done... This is going to sound like a stupid question, maybe after I ask. Has he done a sequel?
Every Mission Impossible movie?
Outside of his
This
franchise. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think he stepped into a property.
Excuse me, Jack Reacher.
Yes.
Which is kind of his like little baby franchise on the side, but it's still Macquarie, so it's like it kind of just feels like this is when you guys want to like not spend as much money.
What you're asking
you go make one of those.
What you're asking is, has he gone back to revisit a property that is not a franchise property?
He's never really done this. Like
it's not like the Equalizer, where it's like Denzel does that. He's never done a sequel. Then he does the Equalizer 2.
Yes,
it's not something like that. No, yeah, this I guess you could say is like essentially the. I mean, let's just ask it right here. Is Top Gun not the most popular movie he's known for? Like, if you think Tom Cruise, you not just think Top Gun?
It's definitely.
I say the name.
I think it depends on what generation you ask, exactly. But I think it, broadly speaking, it's probably in the top 3 that come to mind immediately. Mm-hmm. I would also think, maybe for a certain generation, it's Risky Business just because of the iconography of
the one scene. That's it.
Exactly.
Tell me Tell me besides.
Talk about a star-making performance, though, just in general.
Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say Jerry Maguire, I feel like it's got to be top 3 consideration. Mm-hmm. And then maybe I feel like for some people, maybe if there's, this is before things kind of start to go south for him publicly, but Minority Report, dude. It's the best of the Spielberg collaborations, and I really like War of the Worlds, even though it's got issues.
I rewatched that the other day because it was out. I watch it anytime. It's one of those I'll just throw on because I just love the way he acts. Just the kind of guy he is.
Fucking actor. I just rewatched Tropic Thunder recently for the first time in forever.
Who was it that said something about like, look at that? That man's a movie star. Like he comes in the room. That's a movie star, boys. Like look at that guy. Like seriously.
Absolutely. So, but obviously he's the main attraction. But Miles Teller as Goose's son.
Yes,
that has always been the selling point of this to me.
That was what I was
going to go to. And then you throw in Ed Harris essentially playing like the Strickland part.
I would assume, maybe.
Or like a version, a stand-in for that. And I assume there's some other great character actors buried in here. I know John Hamm's in it, I think, as a little bit of a rival.
I mean, I saw those.
Kilmer's back.
I was going to say, I saw those workout photos of Kilmer getting back in shape.
Even though he's not in the trailer. So
that's my favorite part.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, they still got another card to play.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a cool reveal in the movie. But yeah, obviously we're incredibly amped for it. There is, I mean... This should be a family movie for us, obviously. This was Mom and Dad's first date, correct?
Oh, I don't know about that. I hadn't heard that story.
I'm almost positive their first date was to go see Top Gun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I didn't know that. We have to confirm that.
I'm almost 100% positive. At least that's how they've always
stay tuned for the next episode where we determine if that's true or not. Remember, we got to do that.
That was my number 4. I stepped on your number 4 and your number 2 as well.
Okay.
So where you're number 3?
Mine will be it'll be we can do that. My number 3. So my number 3, I was gonna make a joke here and just be like, my number 3 is Chuck Hank and the San Diego Twins, but I mean that's unanimously my number 1 for the past like 10 years. So who cares?
Okay, and
you got any updates?
I don't. But side note, I mean, on Self Quarantine, presumably they're all in post, and it's just an editing and like effects thing at this point. I'm hoping maybe this is the thing that puts it over the edge and we get it.
Here's the deal, guys. If you don't want to spend money on our Patreon, go to Coat Wolf's Patreon and just give them money to make this thing happen. Please.
The rest of this movie, please. And Canary as well. Yeah. I don't know how far along that production was, which I'm sure is halted.
I thought he got a distribution deal on it. I thought I remember reading that he got it sold.
Canary's all good as far as I understand. It's just I don't know if it's finished yet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, what is your actual number 3?
My actual number 3, Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay.
Really excited about it. I fucking love that trailer.
The Celebrity Imagine video that everybody's pissed off at? No?
What's that?
Okay. Gal Gadot put it together. It's just a bunch of celebrities singing Imagine, and then of course people were like, okay, I love that this is your guys' response, you fucking rich assholes with all of your money who could be helping out right now. Yeah, this is the way to make a difference right now. People have parodied it. It's been ripped to shreds all over the internet, but it's her, Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal. Like, she got all of her Wonder Woman buddies, but then also, like, Will Ferrell's in it, Sarah Silverman, like, a random assortment of people. It's pretty cringeworthy, just because it's not, like, they're all singing different parts of the song, and they're all in different keys. Some of them are good singers, some of them aren't. Like, it's awkward. You should definitely check it out. I kind of want you to watch it in the room right now.
I think I'll wait.
Okay.
It's just too much cringe for me to do.
Don't worry about it. But I am also... This is one might end up getting punted.
Probably.
To the end of the year or next year. I will tell you, if we do legitimately get on the other side of this and have theaters start opening back up, this is going to be like the most insane fall movie season ever to keep track of.
Yeah, if you have like an AMC movie pass, you are in luck when this is all said and done, and you just like got 18 movies that you just like, I've been waiting for this. Spend a whole month in theaters just running through all these things that are going to get thrown out, which is, I don't know. I mean, my question is now not so much as what's getting pushed back, but what's production like on stuff. I know lots of stuff is
halted for the most part. I just saw a thing today with a statement from Netflix that was basically like, yes, we've halted production on all, including like Stranger Things. Nothing's happening right now. But they said it will not affect their slate until later this year, essentially, at the rate they're at right now, with how they have stuff staggered. We won't start seeing the effects of that until, you know, they won't be hitting like presumably a Christmas release for Stranger Things, because I think that since they did summer last year, they were going to do Christmas, but
which is when it first originally came out, right? It was like December.
It was fall. No, it launched in October because it was a Halloween thing.
I thought that Halloween was for the second season. The first season came out like November, December, around Christmas time.
I thought the first season came out in October, and it didn't become a thing until
maybe not. Yeah, maybe that's it.
But anyways, so yeah, their whole like slate, all their international stuff too, obviously, is all halted. So. But yeah, they said they're good on like most of their stuff until like, you know, after the summer.
Well, the thing with them is like, even if it's not the stuff you're waiting on, there's still 1,300 million like other things they put out. So
yeah,
I mean, you can, if you miss one, you just go check out
start scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, now's the time to go get the stuff that's
giant Netflix barrel.
Yeah, so. Well, you know, somebody's cousin owed somebody, so they had to get them a deal, and they got one season, and somehow people liked it, so they talked their way into season 2. And Reed Hoffman's just like, fine, I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever.
What was that again? What were we even talking about?
That's my number 3. So it's your number 3.
What was the movie though?
Wonder Woman, 1984.
I'm excited for it as well. And obviously one that like we want to see on a big screen.
Definitely.
So yeah, if it needs to wait a while.
Yeah, I'll wait.
It is what it is. September 25th. This is the furthest out. Fingers crossed that nothing happens to it. Last Night in Soho, the latest from Mr. Edgar Wright.
I saw that he was directing it. I didn't read anything about it.
Yeah, no trailer yet, but we do know it involves time travel of some sort. And it's a young girl passionate about fashion design is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer. But 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to fall apart with shady consequences. So, sounds interesting. Thomasin McKenzie, who was most recently in Jojo Rabbit. She was also in Leave No Trace with Ben Foster. That was 2 years ago. Incredible movie. Anya Taylor-Joy from The Witch and Split, of course. And who else we got in there? Diana Rigg. Terrence Stamp is in this movie. Yeah, so I'm excited, obviously, for anything that he does, and this one seems not quite. It seems a little more in the vein of like The World's End, which has over time risen to be just like I literally kind of equally love everything that he's made. Like, it's truly hard to pick a favorite. For a time, it was Hot Fuzz. For a time, it was obviously Shaun of the Dead. Scott Pilgrim was up there for a bit.
Oh, yes, Scott
But The World's End, man, every time I go back to it, I'm like, that is a damn fine movie. And very funny, and like continues to have things that I'm like, I missed that. Oh,
and
okay.
you and I saw that in theaters, did we not? I thought you and I went to see
I believe so. I definitely saw it in a theater. I don't know if it was with you, if I'm being honest.
I thought we went.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Could be right.
Could be right.
Could be black.
Could be white.
Could be white.
Could've been
Yeah,
a
so
cowboy.
Last Night in Soho, slated right now for September 25th. That's my number 3. So, your number 2, we already got.
Candyman.
Was Candyman. I already stepped on them toes, so we'll jump back over to me.
Already stepped on them toes.
Oh, and I did not pull a date for this one. Excuse me. I think it's July, but let me double check. Slated for July 24th, the latest from Mr. Wes Anderson. Gavin can go ahead and just tune the fuck out.
Huh?
That was perfect, dude. That was great timing. The French Dispatch. I don't think we've done this yet. Do you want to do this game?
Nope.
No?
Sure, why
Whatever,
not?
we're doing it. Elizabeth Moss, Timothy Chalamet, Saoirse Ronan, Lea Seydoux, Edward Norton, Tilda Swinton, Christoph Waltz, Willem Dafoe, Bill Murray, Jeffrey Wright, Adrian Brody, Benicio del Toro, Owen Wilson, Liev Schreiber, Frances McDormand, Angelica Houston, Fisher Stevens, Jason Schwartzman, Griffin Dunn, Henry Winkler, Bob Balaban, Matthew Almeric, Tony Revolori. We can
You're
stop.
just naming names. These are people who don't even exist. They're
No,
just fake
I had to
people.
name Revolori, dude. He's great. People know him more from the Spider-Man movies, of course, the latest two. But Grand Budapest, man, he was fantastic. Wes Anderson discovered him before anybody else, man.
Who is this now?
What's that?
This is Wes Anderson.
This is Wes Anderson.
Okay, I don't
Correct.
like him. I like Paul Thomas Anderson. I
and
like
you
him.
and you like Paul W.S.
That's my favorite. WS is top notch. Paul's
fantastic. take.
PTA
Shit
is all right.
Literally, no one says.
PTA is a close second, and then Wes Anderson. Third place is third place. It is what it is.
We still got to do that cast. at
We
some
do.
point. We got a lot of time, man. Maybe
I mean, I'm
now
ready.
is the time for the Paul W.E.S. Anderson cast.
And what were we doing with that again? What was the premise?
The idea was we took all their movies and we threw them in a hat, and then we had to draw at random. So sometimes it was going to be a week where you were forced to watch a Wes Anderson movie, and sometimes it would be a week where I was forced to watch Resident Evil 7 or whatever the fuck it would end
But
up
you would
being.
also get Mortal Kombat, dude. Come on.
It's in there.
It
It's in
is.
there. I saw it's coming to Netflix soon. Haven't watched it in a while.
Do you get Annihilation? Is Annihilation a W.S. Anderson joint?
If it was, did he do the sequel?
I don't-
No, somebody else
He
came
had.
in.
He probably had to have. I just can't. I can't imagine that he did both of those because
Wasn't
the
he
first
busy
one was
with is Event Horizon before or after that?
It's after Mortal Kombat. I know that much.
Okay. I know this much is true. Okay. Are we good? Do you want to just say your number one, which might be my number one?
What date does your number one come out?
July 17th.
So does mine.
All right. I saw a trailer for it earlier today.
Brother, you get Death Race with Statham. Just
Where are we at? Why are we talking about this?
W.S. Anderson. You get
Oh,
Aliens
okay.
versus
I
Predator.
actually do really like the Death Race remake. It's pretty solid.
You get the new Monster Hunter that's coming out.
I'm intrigued just based
Pandora?
on the visuals alone.
Soldier
Never
with
saw it.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
The Three Musketeers movie from 2011, which
Did
was
he
really
do
dope.
Annihilation or not?
I'm looking. I don't see it on here. He's probably
No.
dodged that bullet.
What did he do right after MK?
I think literally it's MK in 95.
What was before Mortal Kombat? Is that his directorial
That
debut?
is his directorial
Are
debut,
you
my friend.
fucking kidding me?
The next thing is Event Horizon, and then he has Soldier. Oh, sorry, Shopping in '94. I think was his first. Might be like a low budget or Air Brit film or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
just imagine a podcast where we can go from Resident Evil 7, whatever one that is called, to like Bottle Rocket, and then
Death
Boogie
Race.
Night, and then Boogie Nights,
and then Death Race 3.
I'm just saying that could be a potential order of episodes.
Yeah.
Where else are you gonna get that?
I mean,
right?
you got Pompeii with Jon Snow from 2014. Yeah. So good stuff in here. I'm not saying there's not good stuff in the other guys from filmography. I'm just saying
That was the
some
idea,
gems.
is we
Yeah.
throw them all in a hat, and you're just forced to watch whichever one comes up that week. And then at the end of that episode of recording it, we pick the one for the next week. Or we just have one episode where we pick them at random and that determines the order.
Why don't we just... Dude, I got it.
What?
Let's just do that. And then we just... That's a segment. And like... every time we come back to meet, we have a movie that we watched. We don't make it like its own show. We integrate it into this giant thing we're doing.
Okay.
So it's constantly ongoing.
Ja feel. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to kick that off at the end of this episode?
I mean, you gonna go get a hat? I mean, I got a hat. You got all the things listed to cut or whatever? Or what are you gonna do?
I mean, isn't there like... There's got to be an app, right?
Right.
There's got to be like a
mixer
take
app?
these like 30 things and sort them. There's got to be a simpler way to do this. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Or we could just agree that when Mortal Kombat comes back to Netflix, we just start with Mortal... Well, no. I don't know. No.
Here's what we do.
Okay.
We make it very, very simple. And I'll figure this out off mic. We're just rambling at this point.
I got it, my friend.
I was just going to say, we got to make something assigned to the three of them. Narrow it down by director initially, and then a place in their filmography. So 2 numbers, essentially. 1 through 3, and then, Yeah.
And we just mark it up. We just got to... The thing is, we just mark it off the board and, like, keep it in a big notebook of what we have watched. Because, you're picking out of a hat. Dude, dice. That's all we fucking need. 3 dice.
Yeah.
Well...
3 sets of die.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
For the first 10. And then we got to... Or first 6. Then we got to figure something else out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Maybe we could pick cards.
We'll see if we follow through. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah.
They'll each be a deck.
No.
It's about 52 movies.
No, we got an ace. We got a 2 and a 3. So you 3 cardmonium. Then the rest of the deck through just do. Well, we'll go through 10 or whatever. We just first 10 we roll through. All right, cool. We're done.
Okay.
And then the next 10 we roll through.
All right.
It'll be fun.
You got a deck of cards handy?
I think I got one in my car. Yeah.
All right.
You should have some zombie trading cards Mom gave you. I got them in my desk
Did
at
we
work.
even say what our number 1 is?
Oh, it's Tenet.
It's fucking Tenet.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
This is the ultimate where, okay, July 17th. If you can't see this movie in a theater, you're not going to want to see it, right?
Right.
So that to me is maybe the one that's right on the border there.
I could see that, yeah.
But I just saw the trailer again today on the front of Richard Jewell, which I finally caught up with.
Well, that's cool.
I did a huge Redbox run yesterday.
Nice.
We'll get into a few more of them.
I got some.
In our What We've Been Watching segment. But yeah, obviously, Tenet, I put it, for me personally, above The French Dispatch because I know what to expect from a Wes Anderson movie. There are certain just pleasure centers of my brain that I expect it to hit, and it's going to every time. I know what I'm going to get, to a certain extent. Okay? There's room for surprise, though. Nolan, I'm always surprised.
Oh, yeah.
I sat down for Dunkirk, still not fully aware of oh, so this is what he's doing with the editing and the structure. Nobody had told me that beforehand. I had no idea what I was getting into. Okay, so even in a movie like that, where you're expecting it's a war movie, I know what to expect. Still subverted it. Based on this trailer, I mean, it looks like he's dipping back into more like Inception territory, but something's going on with time travel and spatial manipulation. I don't know. It looks cool as hell. John David Washington and Robert Pattinson. I mean, I don't need anything else other than you tell me those are your 2 main guys that are going to anchor this.
I'm in.
I can't wait. Trailer looks amazing, but I need to see this thing in IMAX.
Definitely.
And I refuse to settle for anything less. So, again, we cross our fingers. This has been Wishful Thinking, the 2020 edition. But yeah, those were our most anticipated. I did have 2 honorable mentions that I'll throw in there. One that I think is kind of lost in the shuffle right now. I'm waiting to hear an announcement on what's going to happen with it.
Fast 9.
Fast 9 is pushed to next year. We know that for
good.
a fact. They were like, hey, we're going to deal with this way down the road, so to speak. Quarter mile down the road, Anyways, Promising Young Woman, which I guess was supposed to come out last weekend. Obviously, I didn't hear any it's gonna be on Prime soon, or Netflix picking it up, or any outlets picking it up. Carey Mulligan's in it. There was a trailer last year that dropped. but it's a kind of a movie about the Me Too moment. But she essentially goes out and fakes intoxication and sees how far a guy will take it, essentially, and then if they don't behave correctly, she corrects them, if you will. It looks very subversive.
Is it like Hard Candy?
Yes, but with a much more like cynical, fun edge to it, seemingly. Like It's a little more playful, but still dealing with some, like, you know, played on the festival circuit, got varying reactions, but it was definitely a, like, you have to see this movie kind of movie. And we haven't really seen Carey Mulligan in a little bit, so exciting. What's
on
the
that
last
basis
big thing?
alone.
I mean,
I'm thinking Wall Street's the last thing I remember in. I'm sure she's done other stuff, but like that's my last thing I remember.
Yeah, I feel like she had a string of, like, I thought Suffragette was going to be a big thing, like a big Oscar play, and then nothing happened with it. But yeah, I mean, of course, we love her from Drive, of course, and Education. And what's the Kazuya Seguro book?
Never Let Me Go?
Yes.
Which is essentially The Island.
Her and Knightley, yeah, that was good.
And who's the guy in that?
Garfield, right?
That's right, it is Andy Garfield.
Good old Andy Garfield.
Listen, man, you know.
Yeah.
God bless that kid.
I bought a... Oh my God, what is his name? I'm trying to think of the Garfield sketch from I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, Tim.
Jim. No, what is his last name? It's Jim something, right?
Yeah.
Creator of Garfield.
Oh, yeah, Jim. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. I don't know his last name.
Totally botched it. Never mind. Whatever. Okay. Promising Young Woman, anyways. So I don't know what's happening with it. Hopefully it gets a digital release sometime soon. That is a movie I'd be willing to, pay a premium for to check out at home, because I would have gone and seen it in theaters. I was excited to see it. And then I also we still don't have a trailer for this one. That's why I kind of pushed it a ways down. It's called Sound of Metal. Comes out August 14th, possibly. Stars Riz Ahmed as a metal drummer, who is losing his hearing.
Ooh.
And so it's very, like, apparently the sound design is kind of the main feature of the movie, and putting you inside his head and how he perceives things. But yeah, we still don't have a trailer. I've just heard it described, essentially, and there's a few stills online for it. But sounds like a really cool concept. And I like Riz Ahmed, and we haven't really seen him in, like, a big lead role yet. So I'm down. I'm ready for it. Hopefully we get to see that at some point. Okay, that was it on my honorable mentions. Did you have any?
No, not
All
really.
right, then let's jump straight into a little what we've been watching. I mentioned I did watch Richard Jewell earlier today. It's a Clint Eastwood movie. So for some people, you're probably like, all right, I'm on board. But nobody really showed up for this movie in the theater. The only story I had heard around it was all of the issues with the Olivia Wilde journalist character, and like whether that was appropriate or not, and whether or not it undermined the whole argument of the movie, which is like firmly against a media that railroads this guy. And it's like, but if you're making up false statements about members of the media, aren't you trafficking in the same shit? And it's hard to tell whether a lot of that is Eastwood, or I did not realize this until the credits rolled. It's a Billy Ray script. I like Billy Ray because of Shattered Glass, a movie from 2003, I believe.
Which features fake journalism?
Yes. And about a true story that is apparently, from all accounts that I've read, handled very accurately to how it occurred.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Really, it just seems like an unforced error of some kind, where it's like, they don't need to hit it as hard as they do. Like, it is kind of comical, the degree to which they have, like, Olivia Wilde's character, like, posing in the news office where she walks in with the headline of, like, the article she just wrote, and everybody's applauding her, and she's, like, dancing around and shit and slow, but, like, it hits it very, very hard. All of that being said, Paul Walter Hauser, I kind of think should have been in the 5 nominees for Best Actor. I thought he was incredible. Sam Rockwell, actually my favorite Sam Rockwell performance in a minute. I know people, like, absolutely love 3 Billboards. I thought he was good in it, but I didn't go as like crazy for it as everybody else did. Obviously, that's what he won the Oscar for.
I like Mr. Right.
I also just saw Rockwell. We're going to transition right here in Jojo Rabbit, which I finally caught up with. Have you seen either of these?
No.
Okay. Jojo, I'm going to save a little bit of this for the conversation I'm inevitably going to have with Mayfield about it, but I was not as hot on it as some people were. I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I did have a few issues here and there. This may sound like a weird statement. Of all the Taika movies so far, it might be my least favorite, but still a really good movie and one that I enjoyed. But What We Do in the Shadows is like a flat-out masterpiece to me. I still would put Ragnarok above this, and I'd probably put Hunt for the Wilder People above this as well. But maybe a rewatch, maybe I'll feel differently. But it's got some laughs in there. My issues are maybe a little bit tonal, which for the most part I think it navigates really well. But it's one of those that'd be easier to talk about once you've seen it. So recommend both of those, though. I think they're both definitely worth your time. A movie that is not worth your time, which I have already bashed on one podcast this week, but I'm gonna give you a PSA, because you joked to me in person that you went and saw this movie opening day, and I don't know if you've ever caught up with it. Have you seen Black Christmas from last year?
No, I did not go watch the remake on opening day. Are you kidding me?
But
I haven't caught up with it either.
We met up at Mom and Dad's or something. Yeah, it was on Christmas Day, and you were like, we were late. We had to go watch Black Christmas, and I thought I was like,
your entire face
really,
changed. You're like, you were so upset.
Tough sit, man. One of the worst movies I've watched start to finish in quite some time.
Wow.
But
still not bad enough for you to turn it off.
It was one of those where I felt committed to the bit at a certain point. And let me tell you, dude, there is a kind of a third act plot twist, not a twist at all, that takes it into the realm of the supernatural, which I was like, why is this in my Black Christmas movie? Why the fuck is this even called Black Christmas? If it had been called anything else, it's like a 6.5. It's a totally fine horror movie, whatever. But the fact that you put that name on it, and you want to draw any comparisons to a true classic of the genre, I'm going to judge it harshly, and ye shall be judged. It is not a good movie. But I would love for you to watch it.
Okay,
so we can talk about it.
So would you say original?
I talked about this with Alex, and I'm like, I don't even know at this point, because you know how much I hate Black Xmas, and I'm almost inclined to say that was a better.
It is a
better use of my time.
How did you watch this? Did you Redbox it?
I Redboxed it. I told you, dude. I went on a Redbox spree. I still have Ford versus Ferrari. Haven't gotten to it yet.
Is it on stream? On streaming? Did you get? I just brought you your movies back. You got all those?
When you say streaming, you also mean rentable, correct?
Yeah. Is it available streaming somewhere online?
Yes, you can rent it.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes.
I don't have to go to Redbox. Germs.
Correct. Yeah. No, I've been thoroughly washing my hands with my Redbox rentals, to be clear.
You washed the box itself too, right?
And the disc and everything. I scrubbed it with soap and water. Mm-hmm. And then put it in my PS4.
Play like a dream, right?
Squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. All right.
You want me to, I got a pretty big list.
I got some others, but I wanted to let you jump in here.
Well, no, because I feel like I'm going to want to discuss mine. Well, there's only like 3.
Okay.
So there's 4. You want me to go from like least to favorite of the ones
I'll knock these out really, really quick. Okay. Rewatch Spinal Tap for like the billionth time. It's on IMDb TV right now, which everybody has for free. You just got to watch some ads. It's whatever. But stuff is rated appropriately on there. Like they don't edit the movies at all. You just got to watch commercials. Rewatch Magnolia, the PTA, 3 hour and 8 minutes.
Like him.
Yeah.
Good guy.
So I had to bring it full circle on that, but I've seen it a billion times. Veronica had never seen it start to finish.
Me neither.
So yeah, we watched it in 2 chunks because it's a sit. It's definitely a sit. An emotional one as well. Very heightened movie. Very tense movie.
John C. Reilly's in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's a safe bet for basically the entire first half of PTA's career. Yeah, John C. Reilly's in it until you get to Punch Drunk Love Forward.
Which is Sandler.
Yeah.
Doing different things, which we can talk about in a minute.
We can talk about it as soon as you're ready for it, because that's my
would be the last
other one that I had on the list. So hit me with what you got.
All right, so I went ahead and I did watch. These are all new to me, so I'm excited. I watched the Pet Sematary remake.
which is streaming on Prime
for free.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to remember to shout out any ones that are readily available. For
these
people,
are all readily available.
Obviously, quarantine choices.
Yeah. So Pet Sematary remake with Jason Clarke.
Yeah.
Thought it was really good, man. Like not as good as the original.
You would.
No, it's not. Listen,
I haven't seen it yet. I'm just giving.
Then I'm like, I won't spoil it for you. Never mind.
I was literally commenting to Veronica. I was like, "Remember when we avoided this in theaters? Now it's free streaming on Prime. Do you want to watch it?" And she was like, "Yeah, let's watch that tomorrow night." So we're gonna watch it. We'll talk about it.
Let me know what you think.
I know everybody's dying to know what we thought of the Pet Sematary remake that literally came and went, and nobody has ever mentioned again. But
yeah, no.
We'll have a nice half-hour dissection of it.
I will tell you
for
though,
a future episode.
But here's the thing: made for $20 million, made $120 million. It was
$120 million for that movie.
Yes,
that's just goodwill off of it. That's literally all
so?
that is. Yeah.
You really think so?
It's the Stephen King of it all, and curious people. But obviously, nobody's going to that movie multiple times.
If I'm not,
and horror does. I think.
When did it release, though?
People don't think about this all the time, but I think horror travels pretty well across borders.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of genres, but it is one of those that you can kind of put in front of anybody and get a reaction out of.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm not that shocked by it, but good for them.
Oh, it actually came out like a year ago. That's crazy. Well, no, April 5th, but like it was South by Southwest in 2016. Yeah, $21 million budget. Sorry, $113 million. It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
It's not. I wouldn't show anybody it as like this is the thing. Like I don't know. I always like to look at with his stuff is like what he prefers, because there's been like several remakes of certain things of his, and I'm always interested in what he personally likes. So if he came out and was like, yeah, I kind of like this, but it doesn't. It does flip some stuff from the novel from the original, and what they do with it is different. And I'm all for that when it comes to horror movies. Like I've said it before. If you're going to do something, just do it, make it your own thing.
Totally fine. They gave away the flip in the trailer.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's the only problem. Yeah. Which, I mean, it is, it's nice, but it's not.
Whatever. We're going to watch it tomorrow night.
Okay, we'll go for it.
It'll be what it is.
Now,
what else you got?
The next one is one that I missed, and I am really glad I went back and watched. I watched Rush. Ron Howard from back in like 2013.
Oh, you got me really excited. Never mind.
Are you talking about Jason Patrick?
We're talking Jason Patrick.
No, we're talking Hemsworth and the bad guy from Avengers.
Forgot to mention I rewatched Lost Boys because Veronica had never seen it. Watched it last week.
I didn't know that.
Did we have this conversation on
No,
mic?
we did not. I did not know she had not seen Lost Boys. They're casting for a show now, right?
I'm sorry. I did have this conversation, but it was with my boss at work, actually. Oh. So she's humming a song the other day. Veronica, not my boss.
Okay.
And she's like, I can't get that song out of my head. And I'm like, what song are you singing? She's like, Cry, Little Sister. And I'm like, are you singing Cry, Little Sister? From the Lost Boys? And she's like, she's like, yeah, the Marilyn Manson song. And I'm like, the Marilyn Manson song?
What?
He did a cover of it.
He did
2 years ago.
I didn't realize that.
I've never heard
Me
it.
neither.
It's fantastic.
It is,
by the way. Yeah, it's really, really good. Maybe we'll play a little bit of it. Maybe that'll be our transition.
For this. Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, so of course I immediately played her the original, and I was like, I've brought this up to watch multiple times. We've spent 3 Halloweens together at this point. We still haven't watched Lost Boys. So we sat down and watched it the other night, and she was totally whelmed by it, and I was like, still a masterpiece, man. Still just everything you want in a movie, all just crammed in one. Holds up great. Glorious. Loved it. Loved every second of it. That's all I have to say about that.
I was really excited. Then I realized that the CW is who ordered the pilot for the TV show, and now I'm just kind of like, fuck.
Oh, we're getting a Lost Boys TV show?
Yeah, CW ordered the pilot. Apparently the lady who wrote Twilight had something to do with Twilight is like writing, directing, and then a writer from the TV show Scandal. So, I don't know. All is going to come down to who plays who. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
But.
All right. Well,
Rush.
So we just got... Oh, Rush. Yes. Not the good one. Excuse me. I'm fucking with you. I know a lot of people like that.
It's really good. Okay. If you... I mean... I was wondering what it was going to be.
There's a doc on Niki Lauda
Yeah.
On Netflix right now that just dropped recently, if I'm not mistaken.
And I think that's probably because Rush just came out as like being able to watch without having to buy on Prime. Maybe, I don't know. But I've been looking for stuff. Just I think the actor who plays him nailed, from what I've seen from footage of him. Hemsworth playing James Hunt is like fucking perfect. I can't think of anybody else. Just the way that he inhabits. I feel like he is just inhabiting and like channeling everything he may have watched about like James Hunt, and I just feel like the way they move the story, and that you're like, okay, it's these two guys, and they're kind of competing with each other. But again, it's like, why do these guys get out in these machines that will literally kill, like 2 people die a year doing this thing, and that's a long time ago, obviously in the 70s. But why are they doing it? And the conversations between them back and forth after it's all kind of said and done, I think are some of my favorite scenes. But there's one particular scene that you're probably not going to watch it, so I'm going to ruin it in spoilers. After he's come back from his accident, because that's a big thing. Nicky Lauda got really messed up, burned his face, all that. He's at a press conference, and like, this guy asked him, like, do you think you can go home to your wife like that? Like, your face is messed up. And he's like, whatever, and basically leaves the press conference. And Hemsworth has been, he's like, oh, yeah, wanting to talk to him, buddy. He might be like, oh, yeah, you heard that? Yeah, I got something for you. Throws him into this room, punches the shit out of him, puts something in his mouth, and punches that. It's like, go home to your wife now and see if she likes you the same. Like, it was this thing where, like, these two guys were like, I don't know if this is a true story that actually happened or if it's just made for the movie, but I feel like I've heard that something like that happened. Like, even though they were competing against each other, when things got too far, like, about after the accident, I feel like maybe there was something there where James Hunt might have been like, you know what, like, fucking let the guy, 48 days after you're in a terrible wreck, you're back trying to race. It's like it's unheard of. And not just like, what we're used to racing here, but like these machines that are like, 200 miles an hour, they'll kill you. So, but the way Ron Howard did, I know he's not like, we talked about, it's like, what Ron Howard movie are you going to? But the way he handled that, and that, like, getting the arrow right, getting the look right, I really enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was going to be more of just a straight up movie about them, but there is some voiceover kind of explaining what they're doing, which it's not overdone, but you do get both voices. You do get where both men are coming from, what they get out of, like, what you see, how it affects them and whatnot. And like, ultimately, for Nicky Lauda, James Hunt was like the one guy he truly did respect in the sport, because he pushed him to, be his best and try and recover as quickly as he could and get back to doing this thing that, like, they don't know why they do it. Obviously they love the thrill and the rush of it, but it's just what propels them to put themselves in this thing and do it. What are they doing it for? And I think that's just a neat thing to look at, because you can apply it really to like anything, but it's just specifically this story about these two guys that went at it in the 70s, and that was that. But obviously Nicky Lauda has become more famous for, you talk about people with racing, it's more him now, because I don't remember when James Hunt died, but Nicky Lauda's still being alive as long as he has. But yeah, Rush, good one. I would recommend it.
All right.
If you're bored, you got nothing to do, you're quarantined, you run out of all this other stuff to watch, check it out.
All right.
Okay. All right. Next one. We can slow down a little bit if you want, but
slow down.
No, I'm getting to my third. This isn't like order of which I liked them. My third one essentially. Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect, dude. The way Statham and the way The Rock play off each other. I want to see him in something that isn't this. I want to see them do something completely different together. I think that would be neat. I love their banter back and forth. That's the main thing I went for.
I think this should have been something completely different, like with different names, because I understand that like physics and the rules of reality left the Fast franchise long ago. Mm-hmm. But
when The Rock showed up,
this is insane. Mm-hmm. It totally outstays its welcome, in my opinion, dude. When they're in the factory chase, after they break him out and everything, or they break her out.
Yeah. She gives herself
scientist flamethrowers and everything. Everything goes crazy, which that scene makes absolutely no sense, by the way, because there's all these scientists in there, and then there's Idris Elba's crew, and then there's our 3 protagonists, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, all this chaos erupts, and I'm like, there's not 2 opposing forces fighting each other here. It's just them trying to get these 3 people. Why is it all of a sudden absolute chaos?
Well, because they had them. And then
look at the staging of that scene. I'm serious. It makes no sense for... Okay. That's one of many issues. But regardless, that scene felt like it was building towards a natural climax and everything. I was like, this is what, like, we're wrapping up, right? Like, this is where the movie should be ending at. And I was like, oh yeah, isn't there's all that footage in the trailer of Samoa. We still gotta go to fucking Samoa right now for like 50 minutes which felt so tacked on to the point where it was like, this should be the sequel to Hobbs and Shaw, or this should have been it to begin with.
Well, see, what they were trying to do is they were trying to build this into something. So you have to like have Idris Elba as the big bad. You have to have the unnamed, unseen Spectre-like agency that's like running the whole show with the whole
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, obviously it is. We all know that. Like you hear the voice. It's like it's fucking Ryan Reynolds. Why do we not know this? You know, I love his cameo. I fucking love Kevin Hart.
You love his cameo.
I love Kevin Hart's cameo. 3 alphas out there doing stuff. You know what I do? I sit in the box of farts all day long. Like
I felt like they expended all of their energy in terms of their chemistry pretty early on in the movie. And you want that. I want it to be a constant back and forth between them. But like I don't know, man. It just, again, for me, it wore out its welcome. I was hoping for a little bit more from it, and at the end of the day, I thought it was just a pretty solid action movie.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I'm not saying it rewrites the thing. I can appreciate. I mean, I say just take the Fast Presents off of it and just make it Hobbs and Shaw's its own thing without trying to anchor it as a Fast and Furious.
I will
franchise
say,
thing. I think it works better for me.
There is some good banter in there. It's peppered throughout. Idris Elba is really the highlight for me. Just
definitely.
letting him cut loose a little bit.
It's just so weird that it's like he's trying to steal a virus, and you know that it's going to change humanity, and like now he's doing fine, but still he's got coronavirus. It's just so weird. Like, who'd have thought? You know.
It got Elba. Okay.
All right. My number 2 favorite thing I watched recently.
All right.
Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
Fucking, everything you said about it.
I'm glad you're on board, man.
Dude,
I don't want to talk about it too much here because I feel like people are still catching up to it. But if you're on the fence at all, take it from a diehard fan of The Shining, the Kubrick movie, and a pretty solid fan of the book as well. I could not have been more pleased.
What and I would just echo this, and then we can stop talking about it. What did it for me was how seamlessly it didn't seem like they were trying to make it a sequel to The Shining, but the actress they had playing Shelley Duvall's character, Wendy the mother, when that stuff happened in the beginning, I was like, I don't care what happens, I'm in for this movie because it's just that level of detail
the choice to not do like some weird CG shit and just cast people who like
vaguely look like they did in that. I thought that was the best part of the whole thing.
Did you catch who was playing? I mean, spoilers for Dr. Sleep. Eventually, they go to the Overlook. Surprise!
Yeah. Who's playing the bartender? Yeah, I don't know who is that.
It's Henry Thomas.
Who's Henry Thomas?
The little boy from E.T.
Really?
Yeah, and he was in Haunting a Hill House, of course, with Mike Flanagan.
And he's was. What was
Gangs
he in?
Of New York.
No. He was in something different.
One of your faves. I had to call out.
There was
he gets killed in the square. Remember, they leave him out to die, right?
Gerald's Game.
Yeah, also a Flanagan joint.
Yeah, he was the dad in the flashback in Gerald's Game. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
I had no idea. I wouldn't even.
So mild spoilers for Dr. Sleep, but the main thing that works for me in there is like I loved all of the sequel stuff and the nods to the original and the nostalgia factor of it all. But I truly love like the new character and when I realized like what Abra was essentially and the whole collective that's after them and I just like the rules of the universe. I was like, I never expected this to be like what you would do with a sequel, but I'm totally on board for it. And it kept surprising me throughout.
Oh, and
now, did you watch the director's cut?
I just watched I put it in hit play. I don't know if I missed. What did I miss if I watched the director's cut?
I haven't watched the director's cut yet.
Well,
that's
then
why it's a whole half hour longer, and people are like, it is even better. Like, if you enjoyed it, it takes it to another level. Let me get that back, dog. After I get to it, sir. Okay. So, huge recommend for Dr. Sleep. Definitely. We'll reiterate that. Yeah. And then, I think I know what number 1 is.
Yeah.
Such build-up.
Fucking Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
fucking these two. I swear to God, every time. It's only been 2 for me, but still, every time.
Well, now you can circle back all the way to the beginning and do heaven knows what. Or not really the beginning. There's tons of movies before that. But you have to actually speak, though. You can't just sit there and shake your head.
I talked to you about it when we talked about Good Time. And the fact that the fate of our character we've been watching the entire time is so far removed from the end of the movie that I felt like in this one, they purposely, because like, and again, this is just my thoughts, so it sounds shitty, but like, this is gonna sound shitty. In my head,
I'm gonna totally break that out.
When I'm
it was just my thoughts, so of course it
sounds shitty. It's gonna sound shitty, but in my head, I'm thinking, oh, these motherfuckers heard me talk about that, and they made this movie and made it this way for me, because now the fate of our character, I'm not up on a roof watching what happens. I am right there at the end, and God was I so pissed off, man. I get it. I get what it's all about.
What a reaction.
Like, I get it. I get you fucking win, man, and you win, and that elation of winning, and just like yes, and then it's all you're done. You're fucking done. Like just.
Okay, well, obviously,
I'm
spoilers
not
for anybody who hasn't watched it yet.
We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to get into spoilers.
We can totally say spoilers because I want to talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
The movie's been out for a while. It did come out last year.
Yeah.
People are still catching up to it. So if you don't want to hear about Uncut Gems, just, skip ahead 2-3 minutes, whatever. Skip ahead till you hear music, and then we'll be on to the TV Ark in just a minute. I adore the ending because I basically... I kind of called it about 7 or 8 minutes before it happened. I was just like, well, this is where it has to go, right? Like, there's no other... And there was a look on the eye... Spoilers, again, sorry, I want to say it one more time. There was just a look on the face of the main henchman.
That he's
who, by the way, is just some fucking dude from New York. Not a professionally trained actor, just a guy they got who should... have gotten a supporting actor nomination, as far as I'm fucking concerned. Also, Sandler should have been in the 5.
Yes. Spirit Awards,
we'll
that's
get to
great.
that in a
but
minute.
Yeah, he should have been in the 5.
But there is a look in that guy's eye where I was just like, dude, he is going to shoot him in the fucking head the second that he gets out of here. I just said it to myself. I was like, dude, he pushed his luck too far. These guys are sweating. They're miserable. They've been in here for the runtime of a professional basketball game.
Commercials
and
all.
In a fucking sweat box. Like, he is so fucking dead.
And as soon as he opened the door, I'm like, you let them go out the other fucking door, dude. Don't let them back in your store.
Yes. And, okay. So I told you my story, of course. I see this one night. There was one other couple that stuck through the whole movie. There was a couple that left as well. And then the next night I saw it in a packed house with Brendan Riley. So I know that I know all of the beats. I know where everything is coming.
And I remember this when I was thinking about it, when I was thinking about every set, I was like, oh, fucking Noah. Noah knew everything when he saw it with everybody. What kind of power is that?
And so
what are you doing? Are you giggling? Are you like?
I'm sitting and just waiting to see the reactions and like see where people laughed versus like it played great with a huge crowd. But when that moment happens,
pin drop.
So many different varying reactions. Some people who were verbally like completely shocked, completely upset, did not see it coming. Other people who were like, oh fuck, like, yep, that's what I thought was going to happen, or like just all sorts of different emotions. But again, if it doesn't end there, it's not a fucking instant classic like masterpiece of my head. If you don't have the immediate, like, you cannot have that character behave the way that he does for the entirety of that movie without ultimately some comeuppance. Like, that I think is ultimately what you're like. You know it's there. You're waiting for the hammer drop. And maybe you are one of those people who is like just hoping that he's going to walk away from it. But I like the amount of times in that movie where he has the ability to pay off the debts that he has in place and just walk away and be good. It's like 5 or 6 times that he just keeps fucking pushing it. He cannot stop.
I was
He is
reminded
completely addicted to it.
I was reminded of like the scene in the Wahlberg remake of The Gambler when he gets bailed out and immediately takes the money that like John Goodman's like, I will kill your whole family if you don't pay me this, and walks across to the craps tables. And I'm like, oh, this is the Family Man version of that movie, essentially.
As soon as Veronica saw him pawn Kevin Garnett's ring, like 5 seconds after, she was like, wait, what does he do? He's selling. I was like, well, he's pawning it. I was trying to explain to her, like, he's not selling it to them. He's getting money for it now, but he's going to pay it back later. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul, essentially.
Dude, I was so nervous for that the gem, the entire movie. The thing I love about them, these two, and why I want to see, if they need money for anything, I hope they don't now, but if they do, I will give them any dollar they want to make more stuff, is the fact that if I'm not mistaken, I remember watching that interview with Garnett. And I feel like maybe they just watched that when it happened live and like, we can make a movie around this. The Rock, we're going to talk about that Rock. We're going to make a whole movie around that fucking Rock. The Rock's not the basketball. It's this uncut gem. I feel like that's how their brains work.
Well, it's not. I mean, I can tell you about the backstory. They've been trying to make it for forever, and it's been different NBA stars,
the entire
different incarnations.
Yeah.
And then basically once they locked down Kevin Garnett, then they had to reverse engineer. We need these games that would have taken place in this window of time near New York City, so it makes sense for him to be traveling back and forth. Like they were basically constantly adjusting, rewriting. I think they said they had over 100 drafts of the script.
You're telling me that interview that you see as the endings happen, he's like, I just felt with me and The Rock out there. That is like a legit piece of news.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, that's not.
That's
fake.
a newscast.
I mean, you can tell the age difference that's a legit cast from the day.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's lovely coincidence because they had all this tape to pull from, and they get that like and that's what happens.
The amount of times that like I'm worried and I'm nervous. They put me at so much like, oh man, what's he gonna do? It's the same feeling I got with like, well, what is he gonna get his brother out of the hospital? Yeah. Oh fuck, he got him out of the hospital. That's great. All right, well they'll just make it. Oh fuck, it's not his brother. Spoiler alert for Good Time. Sorry, but like it was the same amount of just like anxiety that's running through this movie, and I cannot think of a director that is except for like we talked Zoller and what's his face. The other guy, Saulnier and Zoller, those two, I'm nervous anytime. I don't trust them, and I don't, and I'm gonna add these two to the list because I don't, and I love it, and that's why I want to see. If I can trust you, and I know where you're going with me, I know you're gonna give me a solid Resident Evil remake, W.S. Anderson. I know what I'm getting into, and I'm all right with that. Same thing with like F. Gary Gary and all these Fast and Furious movies. I know what I'm getting into. I'm not gonna lose anything. I got it.
F. Gary
Gray, whatever his name is. Who cares? Yeah. Anyway.
I'm just trying to get the dude's name right.
We can put it in post. But these guys, and I think that's what I love about him.
Apart.
He did.
How could you forget?
Sorry.
Jeff Kober.
Who?
It has Jeff Kober in it. Mom loves Jeff Kober. I just had to bring it up.
Is that the guy from like China Beach that she liked?
He was on. Well, that's the dude who Kober was on China Beach, but you're also thinking of the dude who was the bad guy in fucking Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, yeah.
Who's also in Black Hawk Down.
Who I thought was John Kreese for a long time.
Yeah. They look different people.
Yeah, but they look oddly the same.
No, Kober, Walking Dead. I get that was years ago at this point, but he had a huge arc with Daryl and everything. He had his little band of guys.
He was on Sons too. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I know that guy. I know that guy. But yeah, dude, Safdie brothers, not to be trusted. But that means you should just go see everything that they've made. I really hate that I didn't go see this in theaters. And the thing I mentioned, just Sandler as a whole, like, there's so many times in there that I'm like, man, like, I feel like on certain levels, not with the gambling, but like other things, like, I get who he is. Like, estranged from my wife. I still want to be, I still got this life I want to live. I still got this way I want to be that I either missed out on because the kids are like, I just can't stop being this way. I can't stop being the flashy and trying to be the name thing. And I'm going to go to, and I mean, I know you told me The Weeknd was in there for like a split second, but like just the timing of that being right before he did get big, I thought was perfect the way that they integrated. It's like they're trying to find somebody who wasn't that big or was just about to hit, and it just hit perfectly that it was him, you know, and that's Lakeith Stanfield, right? Is that his name? Yeah. Fucking, there's dialogue a mile a minute. I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? Okay,
And
I get it.
overlapping dialogue.
And I fucking love it, dude. It just, I mean, right now, of theirs, I know I've only seen 2, but that's probably my favorite. Good Time second. I don't know if there's anything else that's better than that, but I want to find out.
Good Time has more of an emotional wallop to it and has more kind of to say overall. But Uncut Gems is just entertaining as hell, and it's way more rewatchable because it doesn't require quite as much emotional investment as Good Time does. So for that alone, and I'm sure you love that score, man.
And Good Time.
In either one of those, but specifically Uncut Gems, same guy, regardless.
Yeah, no, I love it. And like finding out that like everybody he's been dealing with, like this bad dude is like his fucking sister's husband.
It's his brother-in-law.
Brother?
Yeah.
It's his brother or his brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law, his sister's
yeah, that's right, yeah. So it's like, what the fuck, this guy's here? It's like, oh, well, that makes complete sense why they wouldn't just murder him.
That Bogosian is also like, you know, maybe I picked the wrong guys. Like, I didn't think they were going to go this far. And then, of course, it plays out how it goes. But
yeah,
just top to bottom, great. I loved rewatching it. That was my 3rd time through. And I'm going to rewatch it again soon. I love it, man. Absolutely.
And you didn't leave that one with Mom. I had that coming. You didn't. She hasn't watched that one yet.
Correct. Yeah, I've not seen her since I had that coming.
Okay.
So
I've
still got to check it out at some point. Okay. Are we done with movies?
I just movies. You want to do a little music transition over to the TV Ark? Talk a little
sure thing.
ZeroZeroZero?
Do you have something in particular you want to play?
I want you to play In Your Eyes off The Weeknd's new album. I think you'll dig it.
When I look at you in your eyes, I see there's something burning inside you. Oh, inside you. In your eyes, I know it hurts to smile, but you try to. Oh, you try to. You always try to hide the pain. You always know just what to say. I always look the other way. I'm blind in your eyes. You lie, but I don't let it define you or define you. In your eyes, I see there's something burning inside you. Oh, inside you. You always try to hide the pain. You always know just what to say. I always look the other way. I'm blind in your eyes. You lie, but I don't let it define you or define you.
All right. Just In Your Eyes for The Weeknd. Album's called After Hours. Is that
After
correct?
Hours, yes. I still have no idea what the concept is, but I like it.
Okay.
I really hope he
More on
pulls
that
it
later.
I hope he pulls. Hope he pulls the Daft Punk and makes a video for every song.
We shall see. Okay. We're over on the TV Ark.
Yes.
We have seen some of the same things, and I'm sure we've been watching some things independently. So,
Roger that.
I think we teased this on the last episode, so maybe we go ahead and chat about it. Did you finish 000?
Oh yes,
over
I
on
did.
Amazon Prime.
Yes, I did.
And what did you think overall?
Don't necessarily think I want to see a sequel, but would totally be down for it.
I'm pretty much on the same page with you. I think by the end of it, they
simply for the cartel of it all, or excuse me, the firm of it all.
Okay.
But I think it wraps it up perfectly, so why would you?
Spoilers for the show,
Yes.
which we've talked about a little bit, so if you want to jump ahead a bit. Where things ultimately go with they're the sellers, correct? The Mexican cartel, essentially.
Yeah, they sell.
Yes, they're the sellers.
Suppliers.
The buyers, they're the suppliers.
Buyers are the Italians.
Yes, and then the brokers
Are
are
the
family,
family,
the Linwoods. Yes. The buildup of, like, their trajectory, and you see them working for the big family, and kind of content to be soldiers for a little bit until things take a turn, and essentially, is it Manuel is the lead one?
Well, see, the thing I thought was they are they work for the Latonas, whatever they are, but they are making their own army in whatever town they're in, and they're eventually going to take over. And it's almost as if if what happened with Manuel and basically the cartel taking out one of theirs hadn't happened, they would have basically maybe, I don't know if they would have done what they did, but they basically would have been like, well, we outnumber you. We're training everybody. I mean, it's literally everybody coming in off the streets. Like, we'll train you like we trained as soldiers. And, like the hit they did on the bus, I was like, holy shit, this is brutal. Mm-hmm. But I get that they got to make a name.
Well, and that's what I loved is it never shied away from showing the human toll associated with it. And I love that I never see anybody actually consuming cocaine, which is what everything is centered around, but we never see those sort of effects of the drug. Mm-hmm. We see everything peripherally and all the damage it causes. But I love by the time we get to the end of the season and seeing the ultimate path and the trajectory of that whole Mexico storyline, mm-hmm. I love the idea that it's this happens all the time. This change of power, mm-hmm. all just so that you're the guy who has a seat at this particular table by the end of this episode. You're just the guy who gives the green light to it, but there's probably somebody nipping at your heels too. But we see how a kind of hostile takeover can happen on a small scale, and then eventually he's the top dog. I love the way everything plays out with the Italians and
grandfather
Andrew Riseborough coming in and settling all of that shit basically. And yeah, the final scene where she walks through the massacred party house with
no, when they had her sit down on the couch and the two other cartel dudes are dead and just sitting there, and she just, I need this many keys by next week. Can you do that? Yeah, I do that.
Just and completely unfazed, and the look on her face at the end of that season, that is what left me simultaneously this is a fantastic place to leave it, but I am so down for
I would watch another
Godfather
8 episodes.
Part 2,
I would so watch another 8 episodes of that right now.
Yes.
Of whatever happens from that. The way she fucking smiles, and you're like, what is she? Oh, she's just being polite to who's next door, because she walks in there stone-eyed this is something she sees every fucking day.
Exactly, yeah.
Just nerves
and at this point she has, because the amount of shit they've gone through to just get this load through. But yeah. It kind of pushed her over the edge, and it has aged even better in my mind, where it's some of a little bit of the season gets a little lost in the weeds for me. Some of the Dane DeHaan stuff and the dealing with the Hutchinson's disease and all of that is maybe, I felt like what I was brushing up against, I think, is a byproduct of it being a big international production, and you have directors from different styles of filmmaking a bit. And I think the communication barrier with American actors, where it might be no, I need you to give more, I need you to emote more, and maybe letting moments run a little longer than they should, where you should pull back a bit. And so I don't think it's a performance thing in terms of I don't think the performance is bad. I think it's just they're forced into hitting the same notes a few too many times just because of pacing. And I did think it's a cool hook, the kind of narrative swing shift moments that happen in each episode.
Yeah, that was nice.
But it is also a little clunky just from an editing standpoint with the amount of information you see on either side of a cut like that.
Yeah.
Where I felt we were getting sometimes 2-3 minutes of repeated footage that wasn't giving us any new information or different camera angles or new perspective when the shift happened. Mm-hmm. And I was we're watching this in a binge. We're not watching this with commercial interruption. I don't know if internationally it airs with commercials in some markets.
It could.
But it felt odd to me that there was a cleaner way to do those transitions, and almost every time it felt very clunkily handled. Now, again, maybe that's a storytelling language or a style that they establish. I know Gomorrah, I think, is the big international series prior to this that has a lot of the same creative team involved. So I don't know if it's something related to that I'm a little bit missing out on. That's kind of a standard style thing they do, or if it's unique to this show. But I struggled with some of those things, but by the time I got to the end of the season or the series, whatever it ends up being, and saw kind of the overall arc of it, I was I think that is an incredibly impressive finale.
Yeah.
Just as a whole, but particularly those last like 10 minutes are just dynamite shit.
And you don't
Great,
even
subtle like
and you
just
do,
visual storytelling.
And you don't even think about like the idea that this dude, or maybe it's not this dude. I can't remember who by the end of the story. One of these dudes in this like firm is the reason why everything that happened to her has happened to her, because they were pushed to not shoot somebody, a cartel guy, and wound up shooting her father instead. I don't know if that's the one who got killed, because I think our main boy is the one who like stops him from shooting a cartel member because he's already working with them. And I don't know if it's his buddy that like either he has to kill or the one that gets killed by the cartel. But that action of doing that is what causes Gabriel Byrne to get hit, and
of course, and then,
jumps it all, and she has no idea.
And where things ultimately go, again, we'll try and stay somewhat spoiler free, but where things ultimately go with the Dane DeHaan character is set up in like episode 1 or 2, where he has conflict with the Italian, with Don Stefano.
Yeah.
And so when they do all of a sudden collide late in the season, there's already this built-in like tension factor and everything, and so you're like, really solid show. I mean, people have said it's kind of like Narcos light. I can't really speak to it because I didn't watch all of Narcos, but I think it's got a unique vibe unto itself. But
I think
by kind of dipping into what we mentioned, Michael Mann, but also people have drawn comparisons to Denis Villeneuve, specifically like Sicario, and that
I would
kind
give
of
it more
intense
Sicario
approach to.
And you could say modern day Narcos, so to speak, because I feel what Narcos is dealing with is already, it's a historical like recreation, so it has these things and beats it has to hit, and they can stray from the truth a little bit. Whereas this, you can literally do anything you want, which I think is why some of the stuff you see here is so like, just like, I mean, when the firm guys show up at the cartel's birthday party just to like lay waste, I was like, this is gonna be bad for everybody.
Yeah.
I was amazed as many people got away as they did, because I was like, I wonder if there's that code here. Like, we've already seen these guys just murder innocent civilians. Are they going to just be like mowing people down, or are they gonna like only go for dudes that are trying to like engage them?
Right.
They're just trying to take the house? What's the deal here? So I was just like, that whole sequence blew me the fuck away. I thought it was crazy.
I mean, there are action set pieces throughout this show that are like, would be the like season ender culminations of some show, and definitely. You get like, it's a throwaway in the episode essentially. So highly recommend that one. That's on Amazon Prime. Any other TV? Stuff that you're in the midst of watching, stuff you recently finished.
Is it Kingdom or The Kingdom?
Okay, it is just Kingdom.
Kingdom, yeah. Bruh.
Turned you on to that one.
Thank you for turning me on to that shit. That shit is fucking dope, dude.
Been shouting about it for a bit. It's on Netflix. Season 2 just dropped recently. I am midway through Season 2.
I'm midway through 1.
If you're enjoying 1, let me tell you, Season 2 is even better.
Okay, good. I thought you were going to tell me, like, skip it, like Season 2 of Westworld.
Incredible stuff. I'm loving it. I'm loving more character stuff, more palace intrigue, and action set pieces that'll just knock your socks off, dude.
Oh, dude, the minute that like everybody starts getting sick, I mean, I already knew. I was like, okay, oh, dude, he gave him that kid. Like, oh shit, that kid wasn't normal. Like, oh, here we go. This is on it popping now, dude. And it just where I was like, holy. The last thing I remember I saw before I fell asleep was like basically they had all run out, and they were trying to get into like the Crown Prince. They were trying to get into something, and there were people like trying to climb over the wall. They were telling them, no, you can't get in that. Fell asleep there, and I don't know if that's 3 or 4, but I got good ways because it's only 8 episodes, right?
6 episodes.
6
per
okay.
season.
So I think it was like 3,
and
4. I
2
think
definitely picks up like right where it left off.
Okay, good.
So a lot, because I did not know this until after the fact when I was reading about it recently. Apparently, and I still don't think the budget is anywhere near like a Game of Thrones or Walking Dead over here. It's just what they can do with the dollar, from what I understand. But I guess they went a little over budget with season 1, so the episode count was shortened. So that's why also part of like season 2 feels like a straight continuation, but it also seems like there's been a noticeable budget jump because the first one did well internationally. So I'm digging it. You and I can talk more in depth and maybe more in spoilers, but that's a huge recommendation for anybody in quarantine right now. If you're interested, again, in like a totally unique take on the zombie genre, you've never seen anything quite like it. Trust me.
I mean, and just the way that it leaves the intrigue of like what exactly is going on with the king that you don't see. So the mystery to that, it's like, it's a blend because it's like, it's this, mystery, intrigue, what's going on with the king. It's a period piece. It's,
it's got social commentary.
On it, but also like in a time that you don't think about something happening.
Yeah.
But the way that it happens is done completely.
It's based on a webcomic, which has been going on for several years. And what this author did was took this period of time in Korean history, this particular era, and there were this like rash of mysterious deaths and everything. And so they basically took this core like event that happened and were like, well, okay, I'm just going to say that that's zombies. And it's also who's affected by it, the lower class that was basically being starved at the moment because of the power structure and everything. And it's like, so even as fantastical as it is, it has its deep roots in like,
it's you could argue
it's historical
fiction, yeah. And I think that's what I love about it, because it's like, I remember when like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies came out. People were like, oh, that's neat to think about back then. I'm like, yeah, that'd be, okay, cool. Maybe this is where the zombie genre jumps the shark or whatever with this Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. But then this comes out and I'm like, I didn't know it was out. You turned me on to it. I'm like, this is actually fucking perfect, because you put this genre that like we all weirdly in our DNA like and want to know what it's like. We think we would survive, all the stuff that goes into it. But you place it in a time and place that like is so unfamiliar to me that like I'm kind of forced to learn something from like what I'm watching about not just like the story, but like you said, if I hadn't known that, I could get from there, hey, this is what's going on in this time. So if I find out later, hey man, that's actually what was going on in this country at that time. I'm like, holy shit, the commentary about it is just, it's on another level.
And then there's other little things like the fact that your main badass, like your kind of your Daryl Dixon equivalent, is a former tiger hunter. Because that was something in that period of time. Exactly. Like this dude has heightened reflexes and is really good with rifles and speed and such because he used to hunt tigers professionally.
Now, is that's the one who...
He's got the top knot, and he's got really cool outfits, and he's always very dirty. And he is in the camp with Duna Bay, the nurse's character.
He is the one that cooked the food.
Yes, because he was trying to feed his people. I mean, he didn't do it. He didn't know.
He didn't know. Obviously, the body.
But it's still fucked up that he fed people human broth, essentially.
So you kind of but you get that realness like that. I'm willing to bet that.
The other thing is he, of course, is because he's intrinsically linked to it. He has that much more will to like, I've got to stop this thing. I got to try and make it right because he knows that he fucked up. Yeah.
Did you ever see 13 Assassins?
No.
Okay. So there's a guy that they recruit in that one, because it's like, the emperor, whatever, prefecture of Japan, these 13 samurai have to like basically cordon him off when he's visiting this place, and they just got to murder him. There's a dude in that's not a samurai that they get to join them, and somehow he gets like he's got swords in his shoulder and all that. He's still surviving. He's just like this random thing they found in the woods, and I feel like it's the same. I have to check and see name wise, but it looks just like him. I don't know if maybe they just, he's a Korean actor playing Japanese.
3 or 4 mainly, and I mean, Duna Bay is the biggest name, who is the female nurse character in the show, and she's fantastic, but people would know her from like Cloud Atlas, and I'm trying to think of some other stuff, but most of the like big leads are well known in Korea, like they're established.
Yeah, I will say I see the faces. I'm like, I know you from somewhere. But
if you're looking for something a little off the radar, a little different from what you're used to, I highly recommend it. I also recommend, if you're not in the mood for subtitles, don't do it, because I can't vouch for the dub on this show at all. I feel like it would probably make it cheesy in some aspects. So
you can put the dub on if you've watched, you're in it, and you can feel that drowsiness kicking in, and you want to at least hear what the dialogue is, what the story's moving, but you you know you're not going to pay attention to the footage for the next in about 10-15 minutes because you're going to pass out. That's the only time it's acceptable to put the dub on for this show. Otherwise, it should be listened to in its native language. That's all I'm going to say, because I did that last night. Okay. I knew I was getting tired. I was like, I just want to hear it, and within 10 minutes I was out. So I was like, okay, I'll go back and restart it.
All right. So Kingdom, we'll chat more. I did want to tease you're going to see some samurai in season 2.
So is this Japan?
No, we're in Korea.
Samurai are coming.
That's the tease, as I'm saying.
Oh shit!
Like,
okay.
There is an action sequence that I was just like, this is just gorgeous. And then like I watched it after. This is not going to make any sense for you, but I watched episode 2 of season 3 of Westworld was on last night. And there's a pretty crazy like freeze frame sequence at the end where like all of the action stops and the camera like pans all through it. It's like, it just basically looks like a video game. Okay. About an hour or two later, I'm watching an episode of Kingdom, and the opening, like 3 minutes of it before the cold open, before we go to credits, I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, this kicked the shit out of that sequence. And like, and I'm just, I'm forever impressed by just like, look at what they're doing, guys. Like, it is on a whole other level in terms of production and execution. I absolutely love it. So I'm probably going to finish season 2 tonight if we get out of here in just a few.
Yeah.
Do you have any more TV you wanted to discuss?
No, that was pretty much it. That's gonna. I mean, like I said, I was kind of watching Westworld. I was kind of doing Homeland, some stuff, but then I got this, and I was like, I gotta finish this one through.
Those are our 2 big ones for sure. I am continuing to watch Devs on Hulu, FX on Hulu. It's so good. My jaw is on the floor most weeks for that one. Drops on Thursdays. If you haven't caught up and you do have Hulu, I cannot recommend it more highly. That and Better Call Saul, 2 favorite shows on television right now. It's as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned. Westworld, we'll see, man. We started off on odd footing. I was ready to come back and just like fucking love the show again, and they're really testing my patience.
What I want to ask about that is like, who loved Westworld the movie with Yul Brynner? Who loved that?
That's my whole point.
No one talks about it.
That's why I love the first season so much, is because it's what we always talk about. If you want to reboot or remake something, take something that wasn't flawless to begin with. And Westworld is a total, just like, it's a totally good, okay movie with a decent premise, but it's not a classic. It's not this like icon of the
It's
genre.
not a Logan's Run or a TH-138 or THX-138.
Great examples here.
It's not one of those.
Other movies that should just straight up be remade.
It's not the Omega Man or, Soylent Green,
but yeah,
or Planet
I
of the
agree
Apes
with
or
you.
something like that.
But that was part of the charm of the first season. Was
it's not Rollerball.
Shut the. Let's just okay. But that was part of the charm of the first season, is that we're taking something that was, by all accounts, somewhat hokey, or whatever, and applying like really deep, hard sci-fi themes to it. Yes. And it kind of disappeared up its own asshole, and it still has not found its way back out yet, as far as I'm concerned. Not everything has to be a fucking puzzle. Yeah. Jonah Nolan, okay?
You think you're...
Not everything has to be like...
You think you're Lindelof over here? You think you're writing fucking amazing shit?
I was just going to say, not everything has to be trying to outdo your brother, okay? We're not always constantly comparing you two. It's not a big deal.
Who's his brother?
Christopher Nolan.
You mean to tell me baby brother Nolan made all the stuff that you don't like?
I love the first season.
No, I'm saying not the first season, but the rest of the stuff. Like, did he leave?
This is his baby.
Oh,
it's Jonathan Nolan, otherwise known as Jonah Nolan, and his wife Lisa Joy. This is their baby, 100%. Christopher Nolan has nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
No, that's why I'm just saying, like, first season was great. You didn't have to keep putting layer on top of layer on it. I don't know. It's a little beyond.
I mean, look what he's had to worry about, dude.
But I tell you who just showed up in the last episode.
Kid Cudi.
Vinny Cassell. Kid Cudi was in the first one.
Okay, I'm sorry. Somebody was like, "Do you know he's in Westworld?" No, I haven't finished season 1. Yeah.
Vincent Cassell showed up. I'm intrigued. But I kind of was like, could we have gotten to him like at the beginning of this episode? Do we need the hour that preceded it, I don't know. So, tentatively, I'm watching Westworld every Sunday. But I gotta be honest with you, I'm also saving Devs to watch right afterwards because Devs is fucking great.
Sometimes you need to
I did cheat and watch the most recent one when it aired on Thursday, though, because it's great. What else? Plot Against America. You and I both watched the first one. We'll talk more about that in depth as it goes along. I think it's 6 episodes total. Mm-hmm. That is airing Monday nights. We got a new one tonight and a new Better Call Saul. That's what I'm watching as soon as you get the hell out of my apartment.
I mean, well, before I leave, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you remember one summer when we were at the beach, we rented 2 Oliver Gurnier movies, Nemesis and Nemesis 2. And we rented them because on the cover, there's a guy with guns and he's like a half robot. Do you remember those movies? Do you remember renting and watching those? Because Nemesis, the first one, is on Prime. And I forgot to tell you that I watched that the other night. And oh my God, is it one of those terribly bad but great, good, awesome movies? Like, I don't know who he was. I don't know if he became any bigger than this, but like, do you remember those? Do you remember watching those? Please tell me you remember renting those from that video store at the beach house.
I don't remember the VHS cover based on what's here on IMDb. I'm looking at pictures of what I believe is Cary Tagawa.
Yes, he's in the movie. Correct? He's in the film, yes.
Okay. And I gotta be... Maybe, man. Maybe. I'd have to check it out. And you say there's a sequel?
What's the cover that you're looking?
It's a sequel to Cyborg?
Essentially, yes. It's like a Cyborg sequel.
According to IMDb, it's a sequel to
What
Cyborg.
What is the cover they have on IMDb? Can I see it?
The cover they have on IMDb is this right here, which does look very, like, pretty much... It looks like the Matrix before the Matrix.
Yeah, this is what I remember seeing.
Yes.
And I remember just being like, oh, we should watch that.
It's on Prime, you say?
It is. And it just so... I mean, like... Look at just.
I'm sorry.
Look at
okay, the IMDb.
You gotta remember this.
I'm sorry, guys. The IMDb description: Alex, a burned-out LA cyborg cop, is forced by Commissioner Farnsworth to find his former cyborg partner and lover, Jared, who's about to deliver sensitive data to cyborg terrorists who wish to wage war against humans. Is he being played? ? Thanks for the plot description, Mr. Daniel Williamson.
I mean, come on, man. You just, I don't know.
I'll check it out.
Just
and
to
refresh my memory. Images of this are probably buried somewhere back there.
I'm pretty sure once you start watching it, you might. I don't remember Nemesis 2. I just remember there were 2 of them. But
so it's technically Cyborg 3. It's Nemesis 2.
I guess.
Perhaps.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
It's like this whole thing where like it's illegal to be a robot.
Let me tell you something. I do not care. But based on the plot description I just read, I will watch it.
I was hoping it literally, dude. This is the epitome of that trailer looked really good. The VHS cover looked great, so I rented it, and it didn't matter what the movie looked like, how good it was. We weren't into movies like we are now back then.
Everything was great.
Everything was
5 stars.
Yeah, because it was an action movie, and sometimes there were boobs, but mostly there was lots of guns and like lots of action and really cool stuff. You know. And then we grew up, and like now, like I watched a trailer.
Now we have vague, distant memories of Nemesis and Nemesis 2,
starring Oliver Gurnier.
All right, I'm there.
And then, of course,
check it out on Prime.
I gotta find I gotta find a copy of The Hitman, Chuck Norris, The Hitman.
Okay, let me know when you do, and we'll watch it.
It's only because it's the way he looks in the last dream sequence.
Okay.
It's I think that's the first one his brother directed. But it's the way he looks at him and Barry look in that last one with the warehouse factory. They've got the long slick black hair and they're on like dusters and so they got shotguns.
Sidekicks, yes.
Yes. That's the way he looks in The Hitman. So like I want to watch The Hitman now. But it's like $8 to rent. I don't want to do that right now.
Okay.
But I did just get paid.
Save your money.
So
save your quarantine money.
Save that tax money.
Watch some free streaming stuff. Okay. We're gonna cut it short. We're not gonna do a music.
I'll just recommend After Hours. I think you'll like it.
Okay. Check out the latest from the weekend.
Definitely.
I was maybe gonna do Idols as my 3 songs or less. We don't have time. I got a little bit of a headache, and I want to watch some Better Call Saul.
And I gotta drive home.
Yeah. So, until next time, for the Ark of E Podcast, I have been Noah.
I have been Gavin.
And we've been the Blanchard Brothers. We'll remind you once again, stay safe out there.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Stay away from people.
Stay home.
Here it's down to 3 people or less. Cops can break you up.
Yeah.
If you got
If
more than
Veronica
3 people.
came in this room right now, we would be fucked.
Yes.
They would take us to jail.
Yes.
Yeah.
No cats in here either.
Oh, thank God.
There's 3 cats though, so
shit.
I don't know. I get that they count as one person.
I think animals are okay. I think it can't. I think it maybe come from animals, but you can't get it. So
I thought dogs have passed away from it, but you know,
you
every
bury them in the
news
pet
story
cemetery,
that-
they come back. It's fine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
More on that next time. Okay, seriously, thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe out there, and continue. This does not just apply to us, but continue to support the arts where you can. A lot of people are putting stuff out for free right now just to get people through, which is awesome. It's awesome to see all these live streams that artists are doing from their homes and all this free shit. So where you can, go and actually support the people that are putting this out, even if they're not asking for it.
And if you can, if you got your favorite, mom and pop grocery store, your favorite, hometown restaurant, something like that, the big chains are going to be fine. They got tons of money. They can pay people to work. The mom and pop stores, the small business owners, that if you can frequent them, please do so. They would love it. I've been trying to do the same. I know you have. I know mom and dad
as a
have.
restaurant manager who is currently not fully laid off, but definitely severely cut back on hours because of the current state of things, I will encourage everybody, go support small businesses.
Yeah.
So where you can, and safely, of course.
Of course, yeah. I read a lot of people were doing, like, when they get food delivered, they just leave. They just get the food out with gloves, leave the bags outside, and wash it. This is something that, like, as I've learned more, I know it's something that, like, yeah, the planet may be mad. The planet's trying to kill us. It's always trying to kill us. But, like, we can, and there have been plenty of people who have gotten sick and been fine. We just have to take steps now as to not overrun the hospitals because, the reason why there was so much chaos in the beginning is just the medical system wasn't prepared for it. And I don't know if they still are. So, like, that's why we say, wash your hands, keep to yourself. If they eventually start giving stuff out to be tested everywhere just because, or there's some in-home thing they get, regulate yourself, call your doctor before you go if you feel sick. But again, stay home if you can. We understand people got to work.
Yeah.
But we all do the best we can, and 2-3 months time, we're not laughing about this, but we're definitely like, remember when we didn't have toilet paper and like we were all out of work? Crazy, right?
Yes,
but
we hope so. So yeah, stay safe out there. Until next time, we've been the Blanchard Brothers. Thank you all very much.
We appreciate
for
you
listening. See you soon.
Show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through a drought. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch.